Hey guys, what's going on? It's Shatterpoint back with another video, and in this one we're going to be talking about Batman the Animated Series episode Joker's Favor. Batman the Animated Series was the series done in 1992 and still stands as one of the best interpretations of the character that has ever been seen. So our story starts off with a man named Charles Michael Collins driving home from work. He's monologuing to himself about how he had a terrible day and he's wondering when he became life's punching bag. Suddenly, Charles notices two cop cars in the Batmobile speeding up behind him. Charles is forced to swerve into the lane next to him as they speed past. Charles then says, "Yeah, push me aside, big shot. No reason anyone should make room for Charlie Collins." After the three cars pass, another car comes up to Charles's and cuts him off. Charles then becomes infuriated and says, "Just treat me like I don't exist? Sorry, pal, not this time." Charles then pulls up to the side of the car that cut him off. Charles rolls down his window and begins to cuss out the driver. The driver then rolls down his window and we see that the driver is the Joker. When Charles realizes that the driver behind the wheel was the Joker, Charles rolls up his window and tries to drive off like nothing happened. Charles then says to himself, "That was the Joker. I just cussed out the Joker." The Joker then begins to menacingly follow Charles. In attempts to lose the Joker, Charles drives to a different part of Gotham. When that doesn't work, in a desperate attempt to lose the Joker, Charles drives off-road. Charles's car then breaks down off-road. Charles abandons his car and then stumbles into the woods. The Joker then finds Charles in the woods and says to him, "Now what were you saying to me on the road?" Charles says to the Joker, "Please, I'm sorry, I was having a really bad day." The Joker then says to him, "We can't have people cussing at each other on the freeway. It's simply not polite. I'll have to teach you some manners." The Joker grabs Charles at this point. Charles says, "Please, I have a wife and a kid. I'll do anything to make it up. Anything." The Joker says, "Anything, says you?" Charles shakes his head yes. The Joker then says, "Okie dokie." The Joker drops Charles and then demands his wallet. Charles does so and then says to the Joker, "But I don't have much cash." The Joker then says, "Please, don't insult me." The Joker pulls out his ID from the wallet and says, "Charles Michael Collins, that's you, isn't it?" The Joker says to him, "Here's the deal. I'll let you off if you do a little favor for me." Charles says, "Okay, what's the favor?" Joker then screams at Charles and says, "I don't know. I haven't thought of it yet. You just go back to your meaningless life, and when I need you, I'll call." Fair? Good. I'll be in touch. And then the Joker walks off, laughing, leaving Charles alone in the middle of the woods, trembling with fear. The scene then time skips 2 years. We focus in on the GCPD, specifically Police Commissioner James Gordon's office. Jim has just received an invitation to a testimonial honoring him. Jim is monologuing to himself about how it's a waste of time. Batman then appears in his office and says, "Most of the force would disagree with you." Jim then replies with, "If anyone should be getting a testimonial, it's you." Batman then says, "I just work the night shift. You deal with this 24 hours a day." Jim then says, "Alright, it could be fun. You don't know where I could rent a tux, do you?" When Jim looks at where Batman was, nobody is there. Jim says, "I hate it when he does that." The scene then focuses on Joker's hideout. The Joker and Harley Quinn are talking. The Joker says that he arranged for another early parole when he heard about Jim Gordon's testimonial. Harley Quinn replies with, "It is to laugh, huh, Mr. J?" Joker says, "I ask you, Harley, who's given more hours of amusement to the Gotham police force than me?" Harley replies with, "No one, Mr. J." The Joker says, "I deserve, nay, demands the right to honor our commissioner as well." Harley then begins to cheer, and then urges the other thugs in the room to cheer as well. Joker then opens an old filing cabinet and searches through paperwork. Harley asks him if he's gonna call in a specialist. Joker then says, "No, just an old friend who's dying to do me a favor." Joker pulls out Charles's ID. His ID is crumpled and folded. The scene then goes to a neighborhood in Ohio, where we focus in on a specific house, Charles's house. Charles is in the front yard playing football with his son, and his wife is sitting in a chair behind them, laying in the sun. The phone inside his house starts to ring. Charles then runs into his house saying, "I've got it," on his way. When he picks up the phone, he says, "Hello?" The Joker says, "Hello, Charlie." Charlie says, "Wrong number, pal. This is Don." Joker then replies with, "No, this is the right number, Charles Michael Collins. I don't know why you changed your name to Don Wallace, or moved your family to 12 Marigold Lane, Springdale, Ohio. One would think you were trying to skip out on our little deal." Charlie begins to panic and sweat, and he says to the Joker, "How did you find me?" Joker then says, "Oh, I never lost you. You've become my hobby," and then he starts to laugh. He says, "Now listen up, Charlie Brown. You're booked on the next flight to Gotham. Tell the family you have to visit a sick friend. Oh, and let's keep this to ourselves, okay?" Joker says, "Bad things happen to people who gossip." Charlie looks out the window to his family, and behind his family we see a car driving by on the street, and inside the car are Joker's thugs. Charlie says to the Joker, "Yeah," and then the Joker says, "See ya." The scene then goes to an airport at Gotham, where Charlie is getting off of his flight. Charlie says to himself, "This is crazy. I can't believe I'm doing this." Charlie picks up a newspaper with a picture of Batman on the front page. Charlie says to himself, "If only there was some way I could just call him." Charlie looks at the exit to the airport, and we see two cops on either side of the exit. Charlie walks towards them. Harley Quinn, dressed as a cab driver, steps in front of the cops. She's holding a balloon and a sign that has Charlie's name on it. She yells to Charlie, "Hi!" Then she says, "The car is this way, Charlie." Charlie then looks discouraged and follows her. The scene then goes to Joker's hideout, where the Joker is waiting for Charlie. Harley then brings Charlie into the Joker. When the Joker sees Charlie, he gets very excited, saying that it's been forever. Joker says to Charlie, "So, are you ready to do that little favor?" Charlie replies with, "Please, don't make me hurt anybody." And then the Joker says, "Not to worry, Chuckers. As soon as you've done my little favor, I'll send you right back home." The scene then goes to Police Commissioner Jim Gordon's testimonial. The Joker, Harley, and Charles are in a van outside. The Joker says to Charlie, "Here's the deal, Chaz. When Harley knocks on the door 3 times, you open it." Charlie says, "And?" And the Joker says, "That's it." Charlie says, "Wait, that's it? That's the favor? You called me all the way out here just to open a door?" The Joker says, "Well, look at the size of that cake, man. She can't push the door open and wheel it in all at the same time. Think." Charles then says to himself, "He's nuts." The scene then goes inside the testimonial, where we focus in on Bruce Wayne and Jim Gordon talking. Bruce says to Jim, "Congratulations, Jim. I'm sorry I can't stay for dinner." Jim then says, "Well, it's the life of a busy socialite. Any chance I could sneak out with you?" Bruce then walks off. And then we see Charles walking into the testimonial. Charles says to himself, "A room full of cops and no way to warn them." Charles then looks across the room to see 2 of Joker's thugs dressed as waiters. Charles says to himself if there was just some way to warn Batman. Charles walks into a room called the Hall of Inventions. Inside the room, there's a giant bat prop hanging from a crane. Charles says to himself, "No way, it would never work, not in a million." Well, maybe, and then he walks over to the crane's controls. Charles moves the bat prop towards a window. The prop causes a shadow that looks like a bat in the window. The scene then goes to Alfred in a car driving Bruce away. Inside the car, Alfred says to Bruce, "Not staying for dinner, sir." Bruce then says to Alfred, "Not with the Joker on the loose." Alfred then notices the bat shadow in the window and says to Bruce, "I think you're needed inside." Bruce looks out the window of the car and he sees the bat shadow in the window of the building. The scene then goes to inside the testimonial, where Police Commissioner James Gordon is giving his acceptance speech. Harley Quinn knocks on the door 3 times. Jim Gordon is at the end of his acceptance speech when Harley walks into the room. She's dressed as a cop and then she blows a whistle and says, "Don't stop now, Jimmy, the party is just starting." Harley then walks towards the middle of the room. We then focus in on Detective Harvey Bullock. He's excited and he says, "Baby doll, entertainment. Hey sugar, you want to read me my rights?" She says to him, "You have the right to remain silent." She pulls out a club and then beats him in the shin with it. Harvey screams out in pain as she walks past and says, "Jerk." We then see Charles trying to leave the room, but as he's trying to leave, he notices that his hand is stuck to the door handle. At this point, Harley has confronted Jim Gordon. She says to him, "Here's to our Commissioner G. You locked up the crooks, the weirdos, and the geeks. You're a hero to all the boys in blue, but this time, baby, the joke's on you." She then blows her whistle for an extended period of time. Gas begins to erupt from all of the candles in the room. Harley puts on a gas mask and runs for Charles so that he can put a gas mask on too. When the gas clears the room, nobody can move except for Harley and Charles, who had gas masks. The Joker then erupts from the top of the cake that Harley wheeled in. The Joker says yes, another stunning Joker entrance leaves the crowd speechless. Harley cheers, and then she looks at everybody frozen in the room and says, "Geez, tough crowd." Joker says to Commissioner Gordon, "I'd like to bestow you with a gift. From me and all the other guys doing 25 to life." Joker pulls out a bomb from his jacket and gives it to Harley. Harley then fastens the bomb to Commissioner Gordon's jacket. Joker says, "Wear it in good health, or the remaining 59 seconds of it. Toodles." The Joker and Harley then make their way towards the exit, where they meet Charles, who is still stuck to the door handle. Charles says to the Joker, "Wait, you promised to send me home." The Joker says to him, "I never said alive." Charles tries to punch the Joker, but the Joker evades it, and then he says to Charles, "Sayonara, sucker." The Joker then walks off, laughing. After the Joker and Harley have exited the room, Batman comes in through the ceiling of the room with 25 seconds left on the bomb's timer. When Batman is in the room, Charles yells to him, "The Commissioner, he's got a bomb on his jacket." When Batman reaches the Commissioner, there's 11 seconds left on the bomb. Batman fastens the bomb to his grappling gun, and then he shoots it to Joker's van. The scene goes to Joker and Harley leaving the testimonial. Joker is talking about how he needs a new hobby now that Charles is dead. As he's talking, there's an explosion outside. The Joker yells to his henchman, "That came from outside. I smell a bat. Quick, to the van." Harley looks out the window to the van. When she notices that the van is blown up, she looks at Joker, and when the Joker notices it, he says, "Okay, we'll tough it out here." The scene then goes to inside the testimonial, where Batman is spraying Charles's hands that is stuck to the door handle. As Batman is freeing Charles's hands, Charles is explaining how the Joker was threatening his family, and that he had no choice. Batman then looks around the room of the testimonial, and everyone is starting to be able to move. Batman says to Charles, "The gas is wearing off, stay with the cops." Batman then runs out of the room and runs through the rest of the building where the testimonial is being held. Batman meets Joker's thugs and then he beats them up. Batman then meets Harley. Harley says to Batman, "I know what you're thinking, a sweet little thing like her, led astray by bad companions," and then Harley reaches for a knife. Batman grabs Harley's hand and says, "Right, tell me another." Batman handcuffs Harley. Harley then says, "Beauty school is looking pretty good about now." Batman chases the Joker into a room remade to look like an Egyptian temple. Joker says to Batman, "Ingenious how they redid this temple. They got everything correct, right down to the poison-tipped darts." Poison-tipped darts then start to shoot out of the booby-trapped walls. Batman runs to evade them, and as he's running, he falls through a booby-trapped floor. The Joker says, "The drop-away floor is a nice touch too." The Joker then looks into the drop-away floor to try and find Batman's remains. Batman then emerges and kicks Joker in the face. The Joker then throws a bomb into Batman's hands and says, "Catch," and then runs away, and then Batman runs after him, throwing the bomb into the drop-away floor. Batman and the Joker are both out of the room at this point, and then the entire room blows up. The Joker is running through an alley where he meets Charles, and Charles looks at him and says, "Hold it." The Joker says, "Oh, come on," and then he pats Charles on the head and walks past him. Charles grabs Joker by the arm and says, "I said hold it," and then punches Joker in the stomach. Joker stumbles back into some trash cans. The Joker says to Charles, "You miserable little nobody. If I get caught, your wife and kid are history." Charles says, "Not this time, Joker. I found this blown out of the van." Charles pulls out one of Joker's bombs from his jacket. Charles says, "This is how it ends, Joker. No big schemes. No fight to the finish with the Dark Knight. Tomorrow the newspapers are going to say that Joker was found blown to bits in an alley next to a miserable little nobody. It's kind of funny, ironic really. You see, I can destroy man's dreams too. And that's really the only dream that you've got, isn't it?" The Joker says, "Look, Charlie, you've had a busy day. All of this excitement, all of this running around." And then the Joker hollers for Batman. The Joker says to Charlie, "Please stop, you're crazy." Charlie then says to the Joker, "Well, I had a good teacher. Say goodnight, Gracie." The Joker struggles to crawl away and is hollering for Batman. The Joker notices Batman standing in the darkness, and Joker asks Batman, "How long have you been standing there?" Batman replies with, "Long enough. Put the bomb down, Charlie." Charlie insists that this is the only way to keep his family safe. The Joker then pulls out a book and says this is everything on his family, names, addresses, it's all there. The Joker says to Charlie, "You're no fun anymore." And then Charlie tosses the bomb at Joker's feet. When the bomb goes off, a little ribbon pops out of it that says boom. The Joker and Batman both look at Charlie, and Charlie says, "Gotcha." Batman then starts laughing. The Joker says, "Ha ha, very funny, a million laughs." Batman says to Charlie, "Go home, Mr. Collins." And then Batman takes Joker away. And Charlie walks off, and as he is, he's talking about how great his life is. And that brings this story to an end. If you enjoyed, please leave a like, share, and subscribe. And when you do subscribe, make sure you hit the bell so you get notified whenever I do drop a video. And I will see you guys in the next one.